Okay, so let's make lentil salsa toast. So you can see here, this is like a brown lentil. There's lots of different lentils. There's red, there's green. This is brown. It's from a can. This is the one that I purchased. It looks like green lentils on the outside, but if you can find ones that say low sodium on the front of package, that is preferred because that will mean that it has low sodium. Usually, another kind of label I guess you could look for is no salt added. That would indicate that there's no salt added in the ingredient list. But you can see here the first ingredient is lentils, second one is salt, water, and then salt. So really salt is the second ingredient. But then you can also look, so for half a cup, we're getting about 8% of our sodium for the day, which, you know, it's not too much, but if you can have a lower amount of sodium, I think that can be helpful if you are looking to lower your blood pressure. So just something to consider if you see them in your grocery store. I obviously did not, and that's why I purchased these. If you can't find the low sodium version, just rinse it really, really well. So, you know, drain it in your strainer and then rinse it well. You can remove about 30% of the sodium there. So this recipe is so simple, lentils and salsa. It is lentil salsa toast. So let's look at the salsa. This is a salsa I purchased from Costco. I really like it. It's like a fresh kind of salsa. And it is, let's see here. Sorry, the ingredients, diced tomatoes. Second ingredient is salt, so it is higher on the salt side. Onions, green peppers, cilantro, lots of spices. So I like it because it's a lot of whole ingredients, but again, can be high in sodium. So something to watch. Look, a quarter of a cup has about 20% of your daily intake, and that's what we need for this recipe is a quarter of a cup. So something to consider when you are purchasing your salsa. Of course, you can make your salsa at home if you have time for that, but that's not always the case. So lentils and salsa, you mix them together and it is delicious. So you can mix it together in a bowl, and then I would heat it up in the stovetop and then put it on like a toast. So a piece of bread that's toasted, and voila, that's your dinner. So it doesn't take long at all. Could be lunch as well if you wanted. Could be breakfast. Lots of options, but the salsa brings out a lot of flavor. So if you heat it up, then it's just nice and warm. You definitely can make it cold or keep it cold too. The bread will be warm, toasted, and then put this on top. Delicious. Then what I do, I top it with Greek yogurt. This one says 2% milk fat. I do recommend like a 2% or 0% when you're looking for a Greek yogurt. That's because like this is 3/4 of a cup. We would only use like a dollop on top, but but 3/4 of a cup would still give you about 2 grams of saturated fat. And that amount, that saturated fat, is the type of fat that increases our LDL cholesterol level. So, you know, we can have some saturated fat in a day, but we don't want too much. So 2 grams is okay, but if we had like a 5% milk fat, that would probably go up to, you know, higher, maybe around 5 grams of saturated fat. So lowering that can be helpful. And I do find the 2% still like thick and creamy. The other thing I really like about Greek yogurt is it offers protein. So yes, of course, it's not protein from plants, but it is protein. And that's what we're looking for in our meals, is to get around 20 grams of protein per meal. Lentils do offer lots of protein, but having this extra little bit of Greek yogurt just tops it off so that you're getting enough protein for the meal. And when I'm looking at bread, this is the bread that I like. This is Silver Hills sprouted, but it's multigrain. Multigrain or whole grain. Both of those titles are really good because they have a lot of magnesium and potassium, which are minerals, heart healthy minerals that help to, you know, relax and contract our blood vessels. So really helpful. Per 2 slices, you get 6 grams of fiber and 8 grams of protein, which is very good. But of course, whatever type of bread you want is fine. What I do look for in bread, if you are going to shop for heart healthy bread, you always want to look at the serving size. So for this one, it's 2 slices. And then for 2 slices of bread, I would look for at least 5 grams of fiber. Fiber keeps us full, but can also help lower our cholesterol levels, so that's great. Then you'd also, I like that this one's offering about 8 grams of protein. 2 slices of bread could be anywhere from 5 to 10 grams of protein, which is what I would recommend. Generally lower in the saturated fats, which is great, but it is a hidden source of sodium. So 2 slices can equal about 20% of your sodium intake. So if you're watching your blood pressure, yes, you're getting a lot of nutrients like potassium, magnesium in this meal that will help lower your blood pressure, but you could have, a higher amount of sodium based on the products that you're choosing. If you're not finding that no salt added lentils, if you're choosing a higher sodium salsa and you're choosing a higher sodium bread, that can all add up. So make sure that you're looking out for products that you enjoy that are in your grocery store that will blood pressure. So toast up the bread, lay down your warm salsa lentils, and then top it with your Greek yogurt and you're set. So simple, very delicious.